Every game was Game 7 of the World Series. Bases loaded, 2 outs, full count. We've had more walk-off home runs than anyone ever could. And on that sandlot were guys nicknamed Cargo, El Yolo, Nato, Marquis, and Mr. Duck. Those select few would go from their own backyards to the big yards of the big leagues. But the simplicity and love of baseball would never change. Trev on the neighborhood field is the same Trev at Coors Field on the inside. No matter where or how old we are, baseball is our game. Welcome to Players Weekend. Here come the Rockies. Take a good look. You will see it for long. Welcome to the beginning of a big weekend as we move to the latter part of August. The Rockies come in 70-57 in the wild card chase. They are a half game behind the Cardinals, who are 71-57. It's Players Weekend. I love that Major League Baseball started this. Nicknames on the back and a dedication patch with a personal message on the sleeves. It'll be a lot of fun. The Rockies, a little revenge on their mind also. They lost 3 of 4 in St. Louis a couple of weeks back to the Cardinals. And Senza going to the mound. Antonio Senzatella in his first start after missing one. He was on the disabled list briefly with some slight shoulder inflammation. Went 5 innings in his last start in Atlanta and gave up 2 runs. And this will be the 17th appearance, 7th start for him. He just has to think back to what he did last year against the Cardinals here at Coors Field.
It'd be really nice if he gives him one of those starts where he goes at least 7 innings pitch. I talked to Antonio after his last start against the Atlanta Braves, and he felt like he didn't use his fastball enough. You see the usage 68% of the time, but threw a lot of sliders, changeups, and curveballs against the Atlanta Braves. His fastball has natural run and cut. He has to trust that it's really difficult to square up that pitch. And I think today, when we watch him against his Cardinals team, a very good fastball hitting team, that he will trust this fastball and see the natural movement work.
Well, that's one guy you got to try to keep quiet. He has been on a holy tear. Slow start to the season, and now he's in the MVP conversation. He's been that good. He leads the league with 34 home runs. He's at the top of the lineup. Then it's Yadier Molina naturally. Jose Martinez will bat third in right field. Tyler O'Neill, Paul DeYoung, Jed Jerko, Colton Wong, Harrison Bader, and Miles Michaelis. And you may notice that they're missing a couple of guys that are normally in the lineup. Marcell Ozuna, he's on disabled list with a shoulder issue. And Dexter Fowler fouled the ball off his foot recently and broke his foot. So they're without those 2 outfielders in particular, because I know Dex was having a tough year, but Marcell Ozuna's injury was just kind of a compilation of things over the last year for his shoulder, and they had to sit him down. And he's a big part of that lineup naturally, as you just saw. Mike Schilt took over about 6 weeks ago, and since that time the Cardinals, they look like they were going to be also rans, and now they're in the middle of everything.
It's amazing how it feels like the Cardinals have just cleared the air with their team by getting rid of Mike Matheny. Tommy Pham was a disgruntled outfielder that wasn't getting the playing time. Dexter wasn't playing well. It's now youth. It's an injection of guys that are excited to play with each other, and the result is, guess what? They're 21-9 in the last 30 games.
Yeah, let's not make any mistake about it. When you play that well for a long period of time, it always comes down to pitching. The Rockies are riding great starting rotation, and the Cardinals have some impressive young arms of their own. First pitch is in there, strike 1 on the 6'3" Matt Carpenter. Cardinals were hanging out here yesterday because they concluded their series in Los Angeles on Wednesday. They swept the Dodgers in LA. That doesn't happen often. So they had an off day here in Denver. Carpenter had a rare bad day. He was a victim of 4 strikeouts on Wednesday. And for Carpenter, that's only the 4th time in his career that's happened. Of course, on Monday, he was 3 for 5 with a home run and a double. He's been doing a lot of that. 2 balls and a strike. I love the purple hats, Billy. I'm really, I give 2 thumbs up to those hats. And this is an easy play at second for Ryan McMahon. That's right, Max at second. Take a look at the Rockies defensively this evening. As Carpenter is retired. Well, Cargo's in right field. He had yesterday off. He's had a very good year defensively. You see the nicknames as well. And in the infield, along with Trev and Nato and Dez at first, is McDougal, as in Ryan McMahon, getting the start for DJ this evening. Tony Walters is behind the plate. Here's Yadier Molina. And that is just a little bit beneath the knees, evidently ball 1. So you're wondering, McDougal. Well, remember Correll Prime, one of his teammates in the minor leagues. And one day, probably around the batting cage, he's going, you know, Mac goes with anything. You know, McFly, McMahon, Macbeth. He goes McDougal, and you know how guys are. All of a sudden, they just settle on McDougal. Absolutely, it means nothing in his life. There's no relative. There's no, you know, you played it in a high school play. It means nothing, but that's now his nickname, McDougal. Those are the best nicknames, right?
It's like Mark Reynolds called Trevor Story Joe last year.
Yeah, Joe, that was classic. I actually said to Trevor today, I said, what, no Joe this year? He said, no, I'm not wearing Joe. He goes, that was ridiculous.
I was begging for Trevor to have True. You know, 3rd year in, True Story. I don't think the league was okay with it.
This is popped up to center field. Chuck Nasty will make the catch. 2 outs.
Well, for a lot of these players, this weekend is very significant because it gives an opportunity to honor family, friends, teammates. For Carlos Martinez coming up to the plate, he's wearing his dad's nickname, Cafe. His father was a former major leaguer that passed away several years ago, Jose Martinez. He was nicknamed Cafecito. So he's wearing his dad's nickname today.
This is line to right. Cargo is there, and that's a 1-2-3 beginning for Antonio Senzatella on 9 pitches. He's trying to get a quick jump on the Cardinals after the Rockies took 2 out of 3 from San Diego. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Buddy Black. So after Chuck Nasty, it'll be a Baby Doll. That's a great one. David Dahl, he'll bat in the 2 spot for DJ. He had a home run and a double yesterday. Arenado, Cargo, Trev, Dez, McDougal, T-Dub, Tony Walters, and then Antonio Senzatella, taking on a guy who's become an upper echelon pitcher this year, Miles Michaelis. He is tough to hit, especially for righties. This will be his 26th start of the year, and he's 13-3 with a 2.80 ERA. He's become their #1.
It's pretty amazing for a guy that took 3 years away from professional baseball in the United States to play in Japan, pitch for the Yomiuri Giants, and really learned how to pitch over there.
And first pitch swinging, which you don't see Charlie do a lot of. I like that, though, especially Spilly against Michaelis, because I know one of the things you're going to pass along to our audience tonight, this guy is a preeminent strike thrower.
He doesn't walk anybody. When you look at whip, walks, hits, per innings pitch, he's second best in the National League. He is not afraid to throw strikes. He throws it with multiple pitches, and there's velocity behind it too. So as a hitter, when you're facing somebody that's a strike thrower with velocity, his fastball averages about 94 miles an hour, you better be ready to hit.
Now that pitch is in there to David Dahl for a strike. David got the Rockies on the board with a blast to extreme right center field in the visiting bullpen yesterday. Also had a double. Two strikes on Dahl.
The umpire was hit with that pitch. Since I have a second, you see the back of the jersey for Miles Michaelis. It's just plain Mike, M-I-K. And the reason why he has it, very similar to what I went through in Japan, the name phonetically doesn't spell out. So in Japan, that was his name.
That's interesting. Breaking ball misses 1 and 2.
When I was in Japan, my last name, I was known as Ryan Spilly. I was not Spillboards.
Really?
The back of my jersey said Spilly.
So you had a nickname all year long. Dahl covers that pitch way in. I know the players, talking to some, they like this jersey even better than the one last year for Players Weekend.
Really?
With the black and the purple sleeves.
Because last year it was purple on purple.
His ball carries through the zone. Throws the ball in the mid-90s. League is hitting .265 against his fastball. Outside. Lefties have had far more success against him than righties. You know, righties this year have 4 extra base hits against him. I didn't misspeak. 3 homers and a double. And there's a base hit. Dahl stay hot. The baby Dahl aboard with 1 out.
Pizza Ranch for the win. Drop the mic. Miles Michaelis, you see the numbers, 272 average versus left-handers. It's going to be the Rockies dependent upon the lefties throughout today's game. It'll be Cargo and McMahon and Walters, the lefties in the lineup, to go along with Arenado, Story, and Desmond.
Dolan yesterday had a sac fly in the Rockies' 4-3 victory on Thursday afternoon against San Diego. Otherwise, 3 strikeouts. So usually if he has a day where he doesn't throw out a hit, look out. 1 for 3 in his career against Michaelis. And now he's 2 for 4. Back-to-back singles. Dahl to second.
So you've seen 3 first pitch strikes thrown for Michaelis, 3 swings for the Rockies. Dolan was not going to allow him to go past go without collecting $200.
See if the Rockies can get the quick jump on the Cardinals tonight. They played uphill quite a bit in that San Diego series. Cargo fresh off a day off yesterday. You can tell already the game plan for Dwayne Espy and Jeff Salazar is be aggressive. And Billy, when you face one of those guys who you knew was going to be in the zone, around the zone, you ought to be, right?
It's a little give and take, because you don't want to be so aggressive that you swing at his pitch, even though it's a strike. Cliff Lee was like that. Roy Halladay was like that. You get in the box and you're almost too aggressive on pitches you can't really handle.
Cargo with the 2-strike count. And I love this bat. We're going to get a close-up of it if we can here in a moment. Cargo's purple bat for Players Weekend has a Colorado flag on it. It's awesome. Gone on 3 pitches. So Trevor Story will come up with 2 outs. Take a look at the Cardinals defensively this evening. Tyler O'Neill, Harrison Bader, Jose Martinez in the outfield. Bader's a good center fielder, and he's the guy that goes 1,000 miles an hour. He's having fun with Jose Martinez right now. I like this guy a lot. Colton Wong. He was not involved when the Rockies were in St. Louis. He was still hurt. Chatting with him before the ball game. He's healthy again. Kind of an under the radar good player, Colton Wong.
Extremely gifted defensively. It's also why the Cardinals are in this position. The Rockies, when you're playing a team like the Cardinals lead baseball in errors, 98. That's a lot of errors. But over the last couple weeks, Drew, Paul DeJong is playing great shortstop. Colton Wong has solidified second base. That's been an area of concern for them. Center field, you have Harrison Bader in center field. That has basically solidified up the middle for them. Think about how good of a defender Harrison Bader is. My son just handed me this note. He's first among all Major League outfielders with 18 outs above average. That's one of those advanced metrics. He's going out of his normal zone to catch the baseball, which is better than average.
He's a good player. Here's the 1-1. And that's chopped foul by Story. Trevor had a bloop single last night with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. And then after a good at bat by Parra that ended up resulting in a strike, I said, well, how can it be a good at bat? He was a pretty good battle against Kirby Yates, who has a nasty splitter. Then Desi came up. He kind of spit on a pretty good splitter that sunk out of the zone. And the very next splitter, he left up a little bit, and he annihilated it.
Crushed it.
Two outs. The Rockies have Dahl at second and Arenado at first. So Trev can come through here. Got him with a slider, and he worked out of it. So the Rockies will leave 2 on in the first. We'll go to the second. No score.
big sweet cleats for Trevor Story. All throughout Players Weekend, players are allowed to break the usual MLB uniform restrictions and honor someone or something that they desire, and Trevor decided to honor his hometown in Irving, Texas. Big Irv, it says, and this is for the Irving Tigers where he went to high school, so pretty sweet swag. I'm digging that, Drew.
Yeah, you know what? You get to the big leagues, you get a lot of cool swag. Tyler O'Neill is at the plate. You know who Tyler O'Neill's biggest fan is outside of his family? Larry Walker.
There you go. When you're Canadian born, how can you not love Larry Walker?
He's a BC kid.
Is he from Maple
Ridge?
Maple Ridge? It's close to it, right? I thought that's what Larry said when we saw him.
I think he may be from Maple Ridge. Sliders down low, 1-2. O'Neill, DeYoung, and Jerko. Well, this is not a big guy, but he is really powerful. With a lot of minor league home runs. A hanger, and this ball is hit well to left field, and he just hit a big league home run, his 5th. 1-0 St. Louis. That was kind of sitting up there on a tee saying, hit me.
Yep, that's a frustrating pitch sequence for Antonio because he had Tyler O'Neill. Had him down 2 strikes. This is just far too good of a pitch. On the Subaru Supermo, this ball is elevated. It's inside. The velocity is about 80 miles an hour. That screaming hit me.
He hit a home run in the minor leagues this year once every 10.4 at bats. He had 26 minor league home runs this year in well under 300 at bats. There's a strike. 0-2 on Paul DeYoung. Young hit the game-winning home run in the 9th inning on Wednesday against the Dodgers against Kenley Jansen. So Jansen came back and he gave up 2 home runs against the Cardinals on Monday in the 9th inning, and then he gave up the DeYoung 2-run home run on Wednesday in the 9th inning. Bullpen issues extraordinaire for the Dodgers, who will be playing the Padres this weekend. 1-2. Going back to that sequence you were describing against Tyler O'Neill. Yeah, I mean, it was bad execution of a pitch, but he, had told you he wants to throw his fastball more. He threw 3 straight breaking balls, and obviously the 3rd one wasn't real sharp. 2-2. That home run that Senzo allowed was first time he's allowed a home run at Coors Field in his last 4 outings here. This is slowly hit. Desney's going to get there, and then instead of running to the bag, just run into the baseline to tag him out. So DeYoung is retired, and that'll bring up Jed Jerko. Check this out. This is how hot the Cardinals are in August. They're 17-4. The 4 games they've lost, all 1-run games. That's when you go back to the clubhouse at the end of the night. You said, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So a break here, a break there. They're 21-0. You kidding me? In August, that's how good they've played.
Or you can think of it the other way. You can go, hey, if they didn't have some of these quality at bats, if the other team executed, like Kenley Jansen, if he was able to execute a pitch against Paul DeYoung, maybe the record isn't where it's at. I mean, you can look at it both ways, but this team's going to stay involved in a lot of close games because the bullpen is better, the defense is better. The starting pitching's been excellent all year. It's coming down to final at bats this series. We know that. Don't walk away from any of these games.
The interesting thing is Here's a 2-0. 3-0. They very likely were sellers when the Rockies were in St. Louis. I mean, Tommy Pham was one of the better players in the National League last year. Struggled this year, but he was coming on a little bit, and they traded him. That's not a guy you trade when you expect to be in it in late August. But all of a sudden, here they are. And that's a 4-pitch walk to Jerko. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, comments, photos. Use Twitter. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. The Rockies have made a habit of coming from behind of late. They'd like to get out in front early and build on that, but tonight you're going to have to do it again, down 1-0. Colton Wong at the plate.
His nickname is the Pebble for this Players Weekend. It's great. He was part of an attempt to land Giancarlo Stanton this offseason. Hunter Pence made a play. Several players made plays on social media. And Colt Wong said, "I knew he met The Rock." Big fan of The Rock, the actor Dwayne Johnson. He said, "Hey, if you come to St. Louis, you can play with the Pebble."
Good line.
So he nicknamed himself the Pebble because he's about 5'7".
Played at the University of Hawaii. Of course, Hawaii has been here a couple of days. Their football team, not the whole state, just their football team. They'll be up at Fort Collins tomorrow evening, taking on the Rams. Opener for both schools. Good to see Mike Bobo back on the sidelines this week. Colorado State. I wish the Rammies good luck tomorrow and all season long, as well as the Buffs and the Falcons and the UNC Bears. Wong takes a strike, 1-1. You always break out that stat about scoring first and statistically how important it is. In 72 of the Rockies' 127 games, the opposition has scored first. The Rockies actually are better than what most teams are when the opposition scores first. They're 29-43. You say, well, that's not very good. It's actually a lot better than what the norm is when the opposition scores first. Again, you don't want to make a habit of it.
It's like if you score first, teams win about 70% of the time. That's about league average. That's an incredible number.
Of course, the Rockies are 41-14 by contrast when they score first. 2-2. Asked Colton today how his family was doing because they're from the Big Island, and the Big Island's been dealing with the volcanic eruption and now the hurricane. He said, fortunately, the family's doing well, but in a rough period over there. 3-2. Jerko at first is kind of a station-to-station runner. He's got a pretty conservative lead. He takes off anyhow, and this is going to be a base hit, and they go first to third.
Senzatella forced to throw strikes towards the middle portion of the plate because he hasn't been able to command his secondary pitches. This one, middle and up with the defense moving. Comes back down to execution for strikes for Senzatella.
And now the 8-hole hitter, the center fielder, Harrison Bader. in the second half under Mike Schilt. They've been a lot more aggressive trying to steal bases. And Colton Wong will draw some attention. There's a strike.
Bader runs extremely well, so he'll be a difficult double play candidate. Rockies have turned 106 double plays on the season.
Here's the rookies, how they're doing offensively. Jesse Winker, the Reds, at .299. Good pitch on the knuckles. Now it's a 2-strike count on Bader. Bader's nickname comes from growing up in Westchester County in New York. His buddies called him Tots, and he's kind of almost a shout out to his the guys he grew up with and played with. And he still will use that nickname with them. 1-2.
I like that, Bader Tots.
Senzatella prefers starting. He's much more comfortable there. If you look at his numbers as a starter this year, .360 ERA, terrific, .220 batting average against, the OPS to .627. When he was working out of the pen, he had a .623 ERA and .830 OPS, a couple hundred points higher. Two and two. Battling command a little bit, which was his strong suit as he rocketed through the minor leagues.
Well, these are the tough at bats for Senzatella. He comes into today's game. Career average 6.6 strikeouts per 9. Not a high strikeout rate, especially in this day and age. And he needs the punch out.
I think it'll get better, Spilly, as his slider gets better. He got one there. But Bader's got, as you said, that's what he needed. And now you have a great chance to get out of it because you have Michael as the pitcher coming up. Well, we were warned he's hit a home run this year. You know, Michaelis pitched for Buddy Black for a little bit in San Diego before going to the Far East, Padres organization.
What did Buddy say about it? You remember? Buddy has a pretty good memory.
Buddy's got a great memory, and this gets away. Tony's not going to be able to pick it up. Oh man. That was a rough sequence. He was trying to get the ball out of his glove to make a play on the runner going Wong, and then the ball trickled behind him. He still would have had him if he could have picked it up and thrown to Senzatella. Instead, Jerko, again, who's no speedster, ends up scoring on that.
This could be a first for me. I don't think I've seen this play before on the Subaru Supermo. The ball is already rattling around in Walter's glove. As soon as he reaches back to make the transfer, it's almost like he threw it away.
That's very un-Rocky-like, very un-Tony Walters-like. As sound as he is defensively, you almost never see that where the ball was caught and it ends up as a pass ball. This ball's well hit to center field. Charlie is going to watch it sail out. Second home run of the year for Michaelis. And it's 4-0 St. Louis. Not only did he hit it out, he hit it to one of the deepest portions of the ballpark.
Wow, what a sequence of events for the Rockies the last 2 pitches. And you're hoping for the punch out of Michaelis. Get out of this inning, giving up only 1 run. The Cardinals just tagged 3, and the confidence through the roof.
Well, you really thought you had a chance to get out of it, giving up 1 run once he had struck out Harrison Bader. So, okay, just get the pitcher. You give up the solo home run, you move on. Now it's 4-0. Carpenter rolled the ground ball to second, leading off the ball game. And he's going to pop this one up behind the plate. Walters hoping for a play, will not have one. Pitch inning here for Senzatella. There's 4 runs on the board for St. Louis. They have only 3 hits. And the slider on the back door for strike 3. That'll end the inning, but damage done. 4 runs, 2 home runs in the inning. An unlikely source as well. Michaelis with a 2-run shot. The second inning, so plenty of time left offensively. Ian Desmond wanted to pick up where he left off yesterday. It's our big hit brought to you by Mako. 9th inning, 2 outs, and that ball crushed over the left field wall. Line shot, and Desi knew it, and the dugout knew it, and the Rockies fans knew it. 2-run walk-off home run. Boy, it's been a lot of fun the last few weeks. Remember a few weeks ago we were lamenting that the Rockies really didn't have a victory this year where they kind of stole the stole a W from the jaws of defeat, or as you said, from the stomach of defeat, as I recall. Well, now they've been adding them up, piling them up.
Late inning victories are the best as far as the clubhouse is concerned, because it basically reinforces that you can win. You can win Major League Baseball games down to your last at bat. When you take a win away from another team, all that confidence just goes in your clubhouse.
And it's nice when you can celebrate like it's a playoff victory. That breaking ball misses, 2-1. Well, the Rockies 13 games above 500, first time this year. The Cardinals 14 games above 500, which is a first for them this year. Jerko will throw out Desmond, 1 out. Time for our Lowe's whole team together. This kind of feeds off of what we were discussing a moment ago. First 9 games of August, the Rockies went 2-7. The last 12, they're 10-2, and they're scoring more runs. The team ERA, though, has dropped to 1.5. So a little more than that, to 3.58. And we've said it a bunch, and if you follow the Rockies, as I'm sure you do on a day-to-day basis, and if you listen to guys in the clubhouse, the position players, they know that they got to get on a roll offensively. They have not kind of been in lockstep in unison probably since July, where they had a terrific July, rolling off 17 wins in 23 ball games. McMahon slices one to left. So a base hit with 1 out for McMahon. That'll bring up Tony Walters.
McMahon's in such a better place since coming back from the minor leagues and working on his swing mechanics with so many different hitting instructors. It's a lot shorter. It's not as much of a wrap, and even with 2 strikes or fastballs in, he's able to handle the baseball on both sides of the plate.
Here's Tony Walters. Tony started on Wednesday and threw out a really nice ball game offensively. He had a triple, he had a sac fly and a line drive to center field. He hit another ball to deep right field. Overall, he's been swinging the bat better in his last few starts. 1 ball, 1 strike, and it's gotten him more playing time. Tony in battle mode, 1-2 with McMahon at first. And this ball is in the air to shallow right. Martinez not going to be able to get there. He got a bad jump on that. Good break for Tony Walters.
Well, it's twilight. There's a bit of a haze here at Coors Field, and this ball just gets lost in the twilight. But you also have Martinez playing so deep in right field. Anything off the bat, you see immediately he puts his hands up. He can't see it. Tries to fake like he's going to catch it.
Senzatella 1 out, 2 on. We didn't get a bunt down here. This is back to the mound, and Michaelis will still go to 1. For a moment, he was going to turn the fire to Jerko. Senzatella gets a sacrifice. And now see if the Rockies can cut the lead in half with a base hit from Chuck Nasty. Here's the standings, a playoff picture. We've been able to show this here in late August. This is going to continue on day after day. The Rockies trail Arizona by a game. Arizona will get going here in a little bit against the Mariners at home. And in the wild card, the Rockies trailing St. Louis by half a game. And of course, Milwaukee's right there, and Philadelphia chasing Atlanta in the East. But right now, they're only a game back in the wild card.
Well, here's one of the matchups that we were hoping for. Lefty against Michaelis with some traffic.
Charlie's aggressive early in the count, which you don't normally see him do. He grounded out on the first pitch that he saw from Michaelis. When the first pitch is put in play against Michaelis, the opposition's hitting 388. That's why it's not a bad idea. 0-1 on Charlie. And this is an easy play for Juan. So the Rockies will lead 2 in scoring position. We'll go to the third. St. Louis has a 4-0 lead. Brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, and by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. 4 runs in the second inning. The Cardinals are out front 4-0. It'll be Yadier Molina, Jose Martinez, Tyler O'Neill in the third on this Players Weekend. They started it last year. It was a very popular event, not only with the players, but with the fans. Nicknames on the back of the jerseys, new uniforms for the weekend, messages on the sleeves. Seeing all kinds of decorated spikes, bats. It's fun. Senza can get online here at a 1-2-3 first, and then the rough second. Got Molina to hit a fly ball to center field, and he gets him on a fly ball here in foul territory that's going to be difficult to get to for Desi.
Nice play.
What a play. That is a terrific play. I don't know, I've said this many times, the way he runs, how many first basemen get to this baseball.
He knows not a lot of players or infielders get to this baseball. He told me as a shortstop this was his favorite play. Anything over the shoulder. We know as an outfielder for the Rangers 2 years ago, he was an all-star. Subaru Supermo, nice play.
That's a great play. Tough angle, number 1. Number 2, most first basemen don't have the wheels to get in the neighborhood.
Not even close.
A 1 on Martinez, and that's on the outside corner. That's what we're used to seeing from Senza, where he can paint 93 to 96.
And he's so hard to square up because the ball cuts. There's a late cut. There's a little sink to it.
Do you think, I don't want to say overly enamored with developing his slider? He needs to develop his slider, but you know he continues to work on it. And you touched on this earlier that maybe he felt like he was throwing it a little too much. 1-2. And there's a slider, and it's just sitting up there in the zone, and it gets swatted to the corner and left, and Martinez will have a double.
Well, if you think back to the last 2 innings, Tyler O'Neill's 2-strike home run. 2 strikes to Colton Wong, 2 strikes to Miles Michaelis, and now Martinez with the hanging off-speed pitch. It's almost better off because he is so difficult to square up. Consider yourself like a Bartolo Colon. 90% of the time, just use your fastball.
Well, here's Tyler O'Neill. We said Maple Ridge. He actually is from Joe Sakic's hometown. He's from Burnaby. It's outside of Vancouver.
His bat has a lot of maple leaves on it, representing Canada. That fastball right there is my point. 1-0 pitch, pretty much center cut. A good fastball hitter fouls it off.
Good spot. Well received by Walters. 1-2. Try to get him to chase that cut fastball. 2-2. Cardinals have done a lot of damage in August on the road. In fact, they've won 8 consecutive road games. Senzatella has been pretty methodical here the last couple of innings out of the stretch. And he gets a strikeout. Got him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That'll bring up Paul DeYoung. Oh, we took a team photo today. What do we got here from Jenny? How about this for group Players Weekend? We got Huey, Yenny, Spilly Goat, T-Mac, Goody. Come back to this in a moment. And that slider misses ball 1. And on the bottom row, or we continue across, we have T-Mac. And on the bottom row we have Biscuit. Corey's like the, you know, the guy who always sat in front cross-legged with the bat.
Yeah. Corey's not a smiler either. He's a non-smiler for photos.
Game face guy. Story's got it. I'm going to throw out his shortstop counterpart. Martinez a double. He's left in second. Middle of 3, 40-0 St. Louis. Back to Coors Field right after this.
Nothing in the bottom of the third, and maybe that guy right there, Kyle Freeland, can bring some good mojo because he did some good things this morning. He went to Home Elementary, his former stomping grounds, and thanks to some sponsors, he was able to bring school supplies and backpacks to every single student at this school. Over 500 kids. You can just see the lighting up of these faces. So cool of Kyle to do that. He has been very clear that he wants to continue this relationship with Denver Public Schools. It's what grew him. His mom currently works in this school district, and it's very important for him to give back to the community that raised him. So really great to see, and maybe that good mojo that he developed this morning, not that it needs to be rewarded, but maybe the Rockies can be rewarded for that, Drew.
That is pulled foul. Yeah, you know what? He's a kid that's proud of his hometown. He's proud of his state, as we all are, and he's going to give back a lot over his career. There's no question about that. Rocky's got a chip away, down 4 runs. Dahl had a base hit his first time up. 2, 3, and 4 in the Rockies lineup, and Michaelis mixes with that fastball. 2 and 2. Do you know that he's not lost a road start since 2014? Again, he was in the Far East for a while. There is another base hit for Dahl. 4 hits the last 24 hours, or a little more than 24 hours for David.
Well, Baby Dahl is swinging a good bat right now. It is pretty amazing, though, thinking of Miles Michaelis. He's won 8 of his last games, 9 games. Hasn't lost since 2014 on the road. He's on a stretch of quality pitching.
Nolan fired at the first pitch he saw from Michaelis and hit a hard ground ball through the left side in the first. Rockies have threatened in both innings. They had first and second, 1 out, but Michaelis struck out Cargo on 3 pitches, and he got Trevor Story on strikes. And then last inning they had second and third with 2 outs, and Blackman rolled over to second. The traffic's been there. And now you have Dahl aboard here, leading off the third. 2 strikes. Plate. Nolan swings and misses. 1 out. Third strikeout tonight from Michaelis. That'll bring up Cargo. When the Rockies score 7 or more, you know the drill. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6, and you will receive a Rockies taco special at Moss and Taco Bell.
Looking at some of the numbers for Michaelis over the last year, and just paying attention to his last 4 starts, he's dropped his whip down to a .89 in those 4 starts. But this was a guy that had a split finger, was using a changeup. He scrapped those. The last 4 starts, he's used primarily fastball, slider, curve. That's it.
7-0 on the road. Ball 1. Home plate umpire is Brian O'Nora. I don't know if we ID'd Brian yet. He's the crew chief. Corey Blazer at first. Lance Barrett's at second. Tony Randazzo is at third. got pounds his own. He does not walk people. That's how you have a low whip.
More importantly, he's capable of throwing slider or curveball whenever he wants in any count.
And Cargo with a top spin bouncer up the middle. Dahl will cut the bag and head to third. So again, the Rockies with traffic. And they're in the middle part of that lineup. Here comes Story again.
Colton Wong is playing on the grass towards second base, almost like on the right field side. So what normally would probably be a ground out to second, maybe even a double play based on the shift, it's a base hit for Cargo.
Well, that ball was on the barrel, even though it was hit into the ground. It's still, that's how powerful he is and the kind of whip he gets. Still came off the bat at 110 miles an hour. Good take by Trevor. Got to take advantage here. Runs batted in. Rockies have 2 in the top 5. Good swing.
The Rockies in the series against the San Diego Padres missed several scoring opportunities by getting an out. I know Trevor had to bat the bases loaded a couple nights ago where he missed a pitch. But in a series against the Cardinals, a team that's played to this level, you cannot miss opportunities like this. You have to find a way to score with runners in scoring position.
This guy so frequently, as he's doing right here, works ahead in the count. And that comes back to teams struggling to take advantage early in the count if there's a hittable strike. And you made that differentiation earlier to say, there's a strike and there's a good pitch to swing at that's a strike. Sometimes it's a strike that's not a good pitch to fire at. He seems to throw a lot of those. 1-2. Michaelis is a big guy. He's 6'5", about 230. He fits that Cardinal right-handed mold, doesn't he?
I think they have a basement where they just build them.
Seems that way.
Hey, boy.
2-2. That's a tough pitch to take. Good job by Story. Here's the 2-2.
Boy,
that's a good take also. 3-2.
Very difficult to lay off tough pitches, especially when you have a runner in scoring position. You so badly want to at least get a run across. Good job by Trevor laying off that tough pitch.
This is popped up shallow right, and Martinez didn't see it initially. Now he's got it. Not deep enough, though, but here comes Dahl halfway down, and now he's hung up. He's got to get there. He is out at the plate. And that's all for the Rockies in the third. So a base running mistake by David Dahl turns into a double play to end the inning. The good news is they've had traffic in the first 3 innings. The bad news is they still have a goose egg up. Take us through this sequence on the shallow fly ball. It's not deep enough to score even with a guy with David's wheels.
It's not deep enough, so this is typically where you're just going to take your shot and let Ian Desmond, who's been swinging a good bat, have that at bat. But what David did was he tried to draw some sort of throw. What Matt Carpenter did was what all first basemen should be taught. Keep your head up, and if you have a chance to back pick him, go for it.
Came too far down the line, didn't he?
No question. And I know you're trying to read the throw because Carlos Martinez is not considered a very good defensive position player, regardless of where he's at, first base or right field. But you still have to anticipate a guy being able to make it throw 100 feet to the cutoff man, to the first baseman.
Jerko, hitting over 300 in the month of August, is behind 2 strikes. Referenced earlier on Monday the fact that the Cardinals in a 3-3 game hit 2 home runs in the top of the 9th inning to ultimately beat the Dodgers and Kenley Jansen. Jerko hit the first, and right behind him Matt Carpenter hit a home run. That hit his bat.
Well, it's fortunate for Jerko because it does hit the knob and not his hand. You're always worried because there's serious injuries that can be involved whenever it hits your wrist or your fingers with the baseball.
Oh, that's punch foul.
So the back of Jet Jerko's jersey reads Jerk-O. And the reason why he did that, said phonetically so people can actually say my name correctly.
And you know the funny thing about that? For years, Jet's been in the big leagues for a while. Now I write his name accurately, but his first couple of years in the big leagues, that's exactly what I wrote in my book. Gotta be a tough kid growing up with that's your last name, right? He's out. Corey Blazer said he went around. So Jerko, 4th strikeout, 1 gone in the 4th. That'll bring up the second baseman Colton Wong. Spilly, you know, you spent some time in the Far East. I know you didn't spend any time in Korea, but what do you have here?
Songwon-Oh's last name?
That's Song Won-Oh, I believe. Or maybe it's just Oh. How long, I don't know what kind of linguist you are, how long do you think it would take in going through intensive study and full immersion to learn to learn to speak and then read and write Korean? It's so hard. I give those guys so much credit because they come to the United States.
Yeah.
The language, the culture, everything's different. The alphabet's different. It'd be the same thing, obviously, you know, when you went over to Japan. I mean, think about how difficult that would be. You have to learn a whole new, you know, alphabet.
I asked him
symbols.
I asked him the other day as I was trying to learn some new Korean words. I said, "How do you say let's go? Let's go."
Actually, Buddy has that. No, Buddy has. We got to ask Buddy again. I'm trying to remember what the word is, because Buddy said, you know, he's picked up a couple of words, and one of them was the phrase "let's go." We have to ask Eugene again. And so when Song Won comes in the game,
I'm worried about saying. I thought it was "gaja." Gaja means "let's go," but for all I know, I just said the worst word in the history of the language. I have no idea.
That was Ryan Spilborgs. And here's his address.
Yeah.
But that's what Buddy yells to him.
Yeah, I want to say it's "gaja."
2-2. Really struggling with that slider, isn't he? Wong had a base hit up the middle. And would score on the 2-run home run by Miles Michaelis. That's right. She missed it in the 2nd inning. Starting pitcher for the Cardinals hit his second home run of the year. It wasn't a cheapie. Over the wall in extreme right center field in their bullpen. Wong still spends some of his offseason back home on the Big Island, and he's got another base hit. All hustling the baseball to hold Wong to a single. Bring up Harrison Bader. Senza wasn't super sharp against Atlanta, but he was able to kind of hold Atlanta at bay. 5 innings, gave up 2 runs. Rockies obviously went on to win that ball game. Had a 4-game sweep down in Atlanta. Out of play. So you say, what's the difference since Mike Shildt took over? Because on July the 14th, when Mike Matheny was let go, the Cardinals were 47 and 46. They're 24 and 11 since then. It seems, when you talk to some of the players and read some of the quotes, that the clubhouse has loosened up. And again, I don't know, Spill, you spent a long time in a clubhouse, if that's what we say now that we've gone 24 and 11, or would we still be saying that if we were, 4 games under 500 since then?
There's times where a clearing of the clubhouse, and it's not just one person. That's why I often point at Mike Matheny's firing as there's multiple levels here. There were several players that were moved. There's several players that were on the disabled list. It's a different group right now than it was 30 days ago. So it's not just clearing of the air with a manager that's been there for a while, and sure, you hear grumblings. You remember we talked about with Dexter Fowler, they weren't really on speaking terms. And so when you take negativity out of a clubhouse and just let a group of guys with nothing to lose, their game over 500, yeah, it clears the air.
1-2 on Bader.
But I hate throwing everything on one person because it's not fair.
It's never that way.
There's too much involved.
Yeah. Maybe not never, but rarely.
Very rarely.
One out, Wong at first. A couple things have changed statistically since Shildt took over. Is there a correlation? Who knows? But their bullpen, prior to the firing of Mike Matheny, had a 4.5 ERA, which was 12th in the National League. Since that time, they've had a 3.17, which is the second best in the National League in that time frame. And offensively, misses. Offensively, they've cut down on their strikeouts considerably.
Again, personnel change. A lot of different arms in the back end. Dakota Hudson, you see Austin Gomber. There's more names now in the back end of the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals, where the average velocity is over 96.
They're soft tossers compared to Jordan Hicks. 2-2 on the ground foul.
Jordan Hicks throws a 100.4 mile-an-hour average fastball, and it's a 2-seam. It's not a 4-seam. 4-seam gets more carry, you get more velocity. I can't imagine what a 4-seam fastball from Jordan Hicks would look like.
137. Tried one once. He and Sid Finch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Remember that great article, Sports Illustrated, the famous April Fool's article? I forget what year it was now. And Sid Finch, and wasn't it, you know, he averaged like 100 miles an hour or something like that?
I think it was higher than that.
Was it that? Okay, but now all of a sudden, fast forward, right?
Like, that's an average fastball velocity from the Cardinals bullpen.
Yeah, this ball lined to deep right. Cargo is not going to have to play except off the wall. Bader to second and Wong to third.
It's 5 extra base hits now for the St. Louis Cardinals in 4 innings. This is on his fastball. It's located down and away from Bader.
So here's Michaelis with the infield in. He cannot afford to fall behind by any more. 1 out. And this is chopped to third. Contact play, and out is Wong. Nolan made the easy feed to Tony Walters. 2 outs, so it'll be first and third for Matt Carpenter.
Enjoy fan appreciation fireworks at Coors Field on September 28th. Come for the game against the Nationals and stay for an electrifying fireworks show courtesy of T-Mobile.
Carpenter, a ground ball to second, and he was caught looking at a slider. Low. Well, 2 of the leading candidates for MVP so far in the National League are involved in this game. Matt Carpenter, the first baseman for the Cards, and of course Nolan Arenado, the third baseman for the Rockies. And you see the OPS is almost identical, as are the total bases accumulated this year. When it comes to WAR, StatsCast WAR has, Stats Inc. WAR, I should say, has Nolan at 5.9, leading the National League. That's low. 2-0. And number 3, according to Stats Inc., is Trevor Story at 5.2 above replacement, wins above replacement. Carpenter sits in 6th place.
The amazing part about Matt Carpenter is that he's not considered elite defensively by any stretch. So
yeah, he accumulates those numbers offensively.
All offensively.
This is on 1 hop to McMahon. So 2 left on in the inning, and we move to the bottom of the 4th. It is 4-0 St. Louis still. CenturyLink high-speed challenge. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM to cast your vote. What's your favorite part of Players Weekend? The uniforms, the nicknames on the back of the uniforms, bats and shoes, colorfully coordinated, and the letter D has dedication patch. We're going to get to some of those. Guys sending shouts out to their family. I think many of those. Mom and dad, I love it. Write anything they want there on the patch. Got to be Colton Wong, right? That's a great question for Players Weekend. Taking care of the family there, Nolan. Arenado crew. Well, Ian Desmond's going to lead it off here in the 4th inning. Getting some traffic against Michaelis, Billy, has not been the issue. Getting the key hit has been, and maybe it will come in the 4th, because as good as Michaelis has been this year, the 4th inning has been his undoing. He has a 6.12 ERA in the 4th inning.
It's interesting. It's like what we talk about with the 1st inning runs. Now here's those numbers you're talking about. He's fantastic through the first 3 innings. For whatever reason, this is the inning he struggles.
Yeah, every inning's great except the 4th inning. And you're right. I mean, look at the Rockies starters. Oh, the quick pitch. Look at the Rockies starters. If you could take away the first from virtually everybody not named Kyle Freeland, you'd have like the 5 ERA leaders in the National League,
yeah,
or 5
right.
of them. Sends out a 1-2-3 first tonight. 2 strikes on Desmond. McMahon and Walters to follow. And the Rockies are going to get some action in their bullpen, because coming up 4th here in the 4th inning is Senzatella, and you're down 4-0. It's one out. It's the guy that Senza replaced in the rotation, Chad Bettis. Ryan McMahon sliced a single to left in his first at bat. That's down low, 1-1. Michaelis, true to form, Spilly tonight. 16 batters faced. He's been 0-1 on 13 of them. 71% first pitch strike. Is second best in the National League, and he has the lowest walk rate in the National League. And he generally works deep because he throws so many strikes. He has low pitch innings.
That's a very savvy play from the St. Louis Cardinals to sign him this offseason to a 2-year contract out of Japan, and he's rewarded them. He's been an all-star. Where he ranks in baseball, I think, is surprising. We mentioned the walks per 9, home runs per 9 near the bottom. It's a great pickup.
Fields his position, drops it once, still got plenty of time, 2 outs.
Let Coors Field be the backdrop for your next game day or non-game day meeting or special event. Groups of 15 to 200 will enjoy great views of the city as well as the field from this unique venue.
Tony Walters had a pop-up that dropped into right field in front of Jose Martinez for a base hit. You know, at the win yesterday, Huey and I were discussing this on Wednesday. Spillian, I want to have you weigh in. what will it take number-wise, victory-wise, to win the National League West? And Huey and I were pretty close. Huey said 91. I said 92. I think that could be the number this year. And with the Rockies at 70 and 57, if you take the 92, with the remaining games, you're talking about 22 victories. Tonight is game number 128, so 35 left. 22 and 13. That's played good baseball. It's not playing, off the charts. It's not your 07 team having to win virtually every game the rest of the way.
Correct.
What's your number?
So there's different ways to look at it. If it's just an overall number, I think you're close with 90 to 92 wins. You get yourself there. It's more.
Is there I'm talking about the division title.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, division title. I think you have to win every series. But more importantly, you can still be okay. You just have to beat the Diamondbacks and you have to beat the Dodgers. Whatever those positive numbers are.
4-0 Cardinals. Buddy Black from the Rockies dugout in a minute. Leading 4-0 upstairs. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, and the Rockies dugout, of course, is Buddy Black. And Buddy, so far the offense, you had traffic the first 3 innings, that elusive big hit. You get this question on a regular basis. From your vantage point, is your club pressing offensively? What are you seeing?
Well, I think overall not, Drew. I think tonight, you're right, we've had some guys out there. We haven't got the big knock. Little credit to this guy now. This guy's got one of the top 5 ERAs in the National League. He's pretty good. But to the bigger question, we have to start scoring some runs on the big picture as we move in here to late August and into September for sure.
What is Michaelis able to do to the offense with his pitch repertoire, with the fastball, the slider, and the curveball?
Yeah,
what do you see?
A big mix, man. It's breaking balls for strikes, breaking balls below the zone when he's ahead, enough velocity. Saw a couple 95s. He's got good location. You look at the walk rate per innings pitch; it's very good. Not a lot of strikeouts, but he's throwing strikes. So pretty good stuff. Good angle, big guy, throwing the ball downhill with change of speeds. And
you had 37 nicknames that you were going to choose from, and again you decided on Bud. How tough was that?
That wasn't too tough, Drew. That was one of the I think maybe one of the better decisions I've made this year.
that a baby. Buddy, enjoy the rest of it.
Okay, guys.
So we go to the top of the 5th inning, and here's Yadier Molina. This will probably be the last inning for Sensatella, since he's due to lead off next frame. And that fastball misses 2-0. He's one of those guys that plays every day and seems like he's going to play forever. And the numbers every year pretty similar. It's going to be a base hit to center field. He hits his fair share of home runs, hits for a solid average, doesn't strike out. The defense is going to be extraordinary, and the leadership on the field in the clubhouse has become legendary in the Midwest.
They asked him when Mike Matheny was fired if he was ever going to consider doing player manager, if that was ever an opportunity. He said, of course I'd love to do that. I think realistically, for a player to be a player manager in 2018, 2019 is so far out of the realm of possibilities because of how much is on the plate of a manager. He couldn't do it.
Well, I don't think he could do it, Spilly. You're right, because just number one, we were talking to Walt when we were down in Atlanta, and one of the biggest transitions for a guy moving over one chair, whether it's bench coach, whether it's a guy like Walt, coming back in, he'd been a special assistant, it is what you have to do daily with the media just to begin with. This is a base hit the other way, and Yachty will stop at second. 2 on, nobody out. Tyler O'Neill coming up. But to finish that thought, now take the catching position and all that's on the plate for a catcher. There's just no way.
There's no way. He's going to be a fantastic manager
one day, if that's what he chooses, if that's the path.
And he said it. He would love to do it. He'll be a wonderful manager.
Talk about a guy that's universally respected. And at that point in time, he could throw Benji at third base, put Jose at first base, make it a family affair, right? Tyler O'Neill, a home run and a strikeout. Senza's gotten a couple ground balls tonight, 4 to be precise. Could use one right here. Chris Russin is now up for the Rockies. He got a big double play in the top of the 9th yesterday. Let's set the stage for Desmond's heroics. Ball and 2 strikes now on Tyler O'Neill.
In baseball, 5-run leads are pretty much guaranteed wins. So if you're looking at this situation, obviously there's still plenty of outs available for the Rockies, but more or less, I think something like 95% of the time, this is going to score a run.
Yep, this is going to go to the wall in center. And here comes Molina home. Martinez will get a stop sign at third. Run scoring double off the bat of O'Neill. 3 straight hits against Senzatel in the 5th. And Rustin's going to pick up the tempo in that bullpen.
There's a fastball down. Tony wanted it down and stayed pretty much over the middle portion of the plate. That's twice Tyler O'Neill with an extra base hit against Senzatel. You see the reaction. Just mislocation.
Nine hits allowed by Senzatella and a couple home runs. 3 doubles. Here's Paul DeYoung. Tyler Anderson's had a couple of rough ones here the last couple of weeks, last few weeks. Senza with a rough one tonight. There have not been many of these at all.
Not at all.
Charlie in center field. At third is Martinez, and he won't challenge Charlie's arm on the shallow fly ball. 1 out. Bring up Jed Jerko.
And Senzatella, third time through the lineup, has fared very well. Batting average drops down to 129 against him third time through.
Well, he has talk about reverse splits where, you know, a righty's better against left-handed hitters, left-handed pitchers are better against right-handed hitters. We call those reverse splits. He goes from the first time through a 317 batting average against. The next time it's 212, and as you mentioned, the third time 129. Usually it goes the other way. Strong early, and then later on fatigue settles in and guys start to figure out a little bit, and the batting average goes up. Wong's on deck. Russin may get Wong. This is a key at bat here. Key matchup with Jerko at the plate. Senzatella can get him without any run scoring. You go left on left with Russin to try to fully extract yourself from this situation. 5-0 St. Louis. This ball's well hit to left field. Dahl going back, and he doesn't have a play. 3-run home run, Jim Jerko.
No, he stayed in.
He stayed in.
This one stayed in. Dahlmas timed it.
He jumped up over the wall, and it looked like he couldn't reach it.
Check this out. It looks like it's a home run from our vantage point because he's looking over the wall. But he almost caught this baseball.
Wait a second, he jumped like a minute early. That's as strange a play as I've seen in a long time. He was trying to climb the fence to wait, evidently, and had he just sat at the fence, he would have made the catch.
Yeah, he would have made the catch fairly easily.
You ever seen that before?
It's a first.
Pitching change. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Cardinals up 6-0. And now Chris Russin's in the ball game. Colton Wong's at the plate. After that strange double by Jerko, he's at second. Tyler O'Neill is at third. Dahl will make the catch, tagging, and coming home is Tyler O'Neill with the 7th throw. 32nd RBI for Wong. Rockies will put Bader on. That'll bring up Michaelis. Michaelis, a 2-run home run in the 2nd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th.
Well, Drew, you mentioned the home run by Michaelis in the 2nd inning. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. Here are those numbers. 104 miles an hour off the bat, traveled 426 feet. About a 2-foot vertical on this one. Pebble.
I was watching him do that. I'm like, does Mike Schilt want his pitcher pulling his calf, celebrating a home run like that? Maybe. 7-0. 3 more runs for the Cardinals. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. It's Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Tough night so far at the old ballpark. The Rockies trailing the Cardinals 7-0. All 7 runs charged to Antonio Senzatella as he goes 4 1/3. The Rockies will have 9-1-2. So Gerardo Parra will pinch hit for Russin, and then it's Blackman and Dahl. 3 left-handed hitters against Miles Michaelis. Michaelis has given up 6 hits in the ball game. He's worked only 1-2-3 inning. Now it's the 4th. First 3 innings, the Rockies had a couple base runners in each. And the bat, the colors of the flag of Venezuela. So I was checking out that bat earlier. I believe it has the Venezuelan flag on there, turned in. Outside ball one on Gerardo.
The Rockies have their work cut out for them. They've only had one game this season where they came from behind, having to score over 5 runs. That happened in Texas.
There is a base hit. That's a good start. Parr is now 4 for 4 lifetime against Michaelis. Bring up Charlie. He is twice hit it on the ground to Colton Wong. Oh, you know what? It's Chuck Nasty Beard Night, isn't it?
That looks great.
It's a little warm for August, though. Ball one on Charlie. Three-time All-Star Charlie Blackmon. Called strike. This is earlier today.
Those are great. Good promotion. I like it. This one back.
Right center field's got a chance to fly. 2-run home run. Charlie Blackmon. Here come the Rockies. On his beard night, Chuck Nasty with his 23rd of the year.
Throw on your beanie and throw on your beard. That's nice. The Rockies have a chance. Look, we talked about this earlier. It's only happened once on the season. The Rockies came from behind by 5 runs. And on the stretch of baseball the Rockies have been going through, why not? Hanging curveball, the Subaru Supermo. Ball just gets crushed.
422 feet on that home run from Blackmon. Ball and a strike on Dahl. David's 2 for 2. He's pulled 2 singles to right. And 2-1. Last 30 home games, the Rockies have turned things around. They struggled, you know, the first 3 months at home. 22-8 the last 30. And this is sharply hit, and it goes off the glove momentarily. Well, Carpenter, he stayed with it, and he fed a perfect throw to Michaelis on the move. 1 out. We'll bring up Nolan. 1 for 2. This ball's well hit left field. This one's way back, and this one's gone. Rockies chipping away at 7-3. Home run number 31 for Nada.
Just like that, the Rockies are back in this game. Down 4 runs. So plenty of outs left. It looks like a little cutter, a slider that didn't move. His finish is so sweet when he drives through that baseball.
Now here's Cargo with 1 out. Look out. You know, for Nolan, he's been getting his hits. He's hitting better than 320 his last 8 ball games, but that was just his second extra base hit over the last 8. He's chasing Matt Carpenter. Broke the tie with Bryce Harper tonight. One and one. Great crowd tonight. Huge crowds all weekend. This is a base hit to right. Oh, the Rockies in the 5th starting to figure out Miles Michaelis. 4 hits in the inning. Trevor Story coming up.
Well, we pointed out that Michaelis struggles in the 4th inning. Maybe we missed it.
Well, at altitude, it's the 5th inning.
It's the 5th inning. Well, now it comes back to some of those at-bats early in the game where the Rockies had a chance to score runs. And you hate having those what-if moments, but on a night like tonight where you're looking to do something that doesn't happen too often, come from behind, down 7 runs, those will mount.
Mike Maddox, a different approach here. There's no hand on the shoulder, it's a slap on the chest. Another slap on the chest.
Let's take a look at those 2 home runs with the Subaru StatCast numbers. Here's Charlie Blackmon's 100 miles an hour off the bat, traveled 422 feet. Got about 45,000 people on their feet, and then Nolan, 2 batters later, 100 miles an hour off the bat, 440 feet, and a couple chest pumps.
Story's 0 for 2. Keep in mind, it's just the 5th inning. Gloomy as it looked to start the bottom of the 5th. The Rockies are now within 4. And they've reached double digits in hits with 10.
Tonight felt like it was going to be a taco night anyways.
Gonna have to be. 0-1. The Rockies, one of the storylines as you evaluate this club in 2018 has been their ability to come back, especially of late. Seemingly undaunted by any deficit. They have 36 comeback wins this year. Only the Cubs are better in the National League.
Well, and you only have that many come from behind victories when you have a good offense and when you have pitchers that can keep you in the game long enough. And even though the Rockies haven't been scoring 7 runs a night, the offense is still there.
Story, base hit the other way. Cargo's going to go first to third. Trevor's first hit of the night. Keep the pressure on. Five of 6 hitters with a hit here in the 5th. And the lone out was David Dawes off of Matt Carpenter that almost resulted in a base runner.
Well, I like the approach for the Rockies. They've been aggressive all night against Miles Michaelis, but they're more aggressive now on pitches they can handle. And you can tell these pitches have been up. Michaelis has been so good throughout the evening, staying down in the zone.
Mike Myers is up in their bullpen. They're using walkie-talkies to communicate, I guess. Ian Desmond, how many clutch hits has he had of late? I like what he said after the ball game yesterday in describing his at-bat, the game-winning 2-run home run against Kirby Yates. He said, I really focused on staying short. He said, I've been getting too big lately. That first swing was big.
Swing was a little big. You want to do something special. Fly ball to the outfield's great.
1-1.
This is where, no matter what, either work a walk or you get the runner in from third base. Doesn't matter. This has to be a 3-run game by the end of this inning.
Good take there, just off the edge of the outside corner. And the count flips in favor of Desmond, 2-1. Last 10 days, nobody's driven in more runs. 71 on the season for Desi. Three and one.
There we go.
Desi in the driver's seat. He loves moments like this. Here we go, 3-1. Ground ball to third. I don't know if it's hit hard enough to turn it over. Nope, and it gets away for a moment. Desi's going to go to second. The run scored, and he may end up at third. He will. On the Wong throwing error. 7-4. 2 outs. Desmond 90 feet away.
It's a 99th error now for the St. Louis Cardinals. It's almost twice as many as the Colorado Rockies. And for Jerko, he does as best as he can. Plays it to an in-between hop. Trevor sliding hard into second base. Good clean baseball. Carpenter just lifts up too soon.
See if Ryan McMahon can come through here with 2 outs. He's 1 for 2 against Michaelis. Got a pitch to hit. Late decision on a pitch he probably shouldn't have fired at. And now he's in a hole, 0-2. Rockies began the inning down a touchdown. They are within a field goal right now.
Nice. Broncos game's over.
Whatever transpires in this at bat, the Rockies have gotten themselves right back in this game here in the 5th. And it looked pretty bleak. 1-2 on McMahon. 2-2.
There's just not as much depth to the curveball for Michaelis. Fastball's a missing location. Not sure if he exerted a lot of energy during the home run or even last inning, grounding out to shortstop.
And this is lobbed out to left center. It's going to drop. It's a 2-run game. McMahon comes through. It is 7-5.
We said this was going to be a series that you cannot walk away from. It's going to come down to the last at bat. It's the 5th inning. They're down 7-0. It's 5 runs this inning.
And that will be all from Michaelis. He had a shutout going 15 minutes ago. The Rockies have crossed home plate 5 times here in the 5th. It's a whole new evening at 20th and Blake.
receive a lunch cooler bag courtesy of King Soopers. Get your tickets to see the Rockies take on the Cardinals at any Rockies ticket outlet. They got the rally beards on, Drew, and it's working.
It is certainly working here in the 5th inning. And this ball is pretty well hit to center field, moving back and ready to make the play as Bader to end the inning. So Tony Walters flies out, but the Rockies hit around in the 5th, and they're back in this thing. They scored 5 times. They hit a couple of home runs. Charlie Blackmon, a 2-run shot. Nolan Arenado, a solo home run. 7-5 going to the 6th. Five in the 5th, and it's now 7-5. And in the top of the 6th inning, Chad Bettis is on the mound for the first time in 12 days. Last time we saw him, he pitched an exceptional game against the Dodgers, got a no decision. The Rockies eventually walked off the Dodgers that evening. It'll be his 20th appearance, most obviously as a starting pitcher this year. In that Dodger ball game, he went 6 innings, allowed a run on just 3 hits. He walked 4, struck out 3. Again, that was 12 days ago. And then the last couple of starts in what would have been his turn, Antonio Senzatella was out there.
Well, I think given the situation about it a half an inning ago, Bettis was looked to eat up multiple innings when it was 7-0. This time through, with his spot coming up, leading off next inning, the Rockies want him to get a shutdown inning. That's his goal. That's his job. And I think for Bud Black, since it has been 12 days, if you get him warmed up, you have to trust him to get this 3 outs.
Carpenter, Molina, Martinez, top of the Cardinal order. Carpenter's 0 for 3. And that is foul. Make an argument that these are the 2 hottest teams, certainly in the National League. The Rockies have won 10 out of 12. The Cardinals have won 13 out of 15. One and a rollover ground ball to McMahon. A shovel it to first, and Carpenter's retired for the 3rd time tonight on a ground ball to second. Bring up Yadier Molina, base hit and a run scored in the 5th. He's 1 for 3.
Well, it's been years since we've seen Chad Bettis coming out of the bullpen. 2014 was the last time.
You know what, down deep. I'm sure he wishes he was still in the rotation. Who knows what transpires going forward, but you'll never hear that from him.
Nope.
This is truly the consummate team guy. Sometimes that phrase is thrown around, as you know, Spilly, but he is all about helping the Rockies win baseball games. And if Buddy and the pitching staff feels that he's best suited right now to help them out of the pen, that's what he's going to do. 2-1.
And I've pointed out many times, for any sort of starter that gets put in a position where he's going to the bullpen, it's not a demotion. You have guys back there that's their job. You take it as an opportunity to be in a unique role for your manager. Think back to last year, Drew. The Houston Astros relied on starters to win a World Series. You do whatever it takes to be part of a 25-man group to win a ball game.
Here's the 3-2 on Molina, and he gets a ground ball toward Nolan. 2 outs. Bring up Jose Martinez, a line out, a double, and a single, a run scored tonight. One of those guys that hasn't gotten a great deal of national attention in the resurgence of the Cardinals the last month or so, but his numbers deserve attention. 15 home runs, 72 driven in, a .305 average coming in. Plays hitter pretty good.
Last year, if you think back to how he made a name for himself, he was a positionless position player, but he was coming off the bench as one of the best pinch hitters in baseball. And if you do that, the funnest spot for you to hit. He can flat out hit.
Ball and a strike. This guy's a large person. He's 6'7", 230 out of Venezuela. And that's lined to right, and it is a foul ball.
So far, just paying attention to how Chad's attacking the hitters. He's looking like a sprinter right now. Fastball velocity is up. It's averaged about 90 miles an hour this season. This inning, it's about 92 to 93.
One and two. Cargo bails out. Is he all right? Yep.
Whew.
Boy, that's scary. And he knew the whole way that that was going to be right near the wall. And that's a great effort. That's scary stuff.
That's really scary. Remember back to when Cargo slid into the wall at Wrigley Field a couple years ago, and that sent him backwards. It took a year for him to recover for that.
I remember when Brad Hobb got low bridged
in Anaheim.
Yep. There's low walls down the line. Two outs, 1-2 count on Martinez. Inside. story.
It's a great inning.
Great inning for Chad Bettis. 3 ground balls. The Rockies can get back to the bat rack. They scored 5 in the 5th. What's to come in the bottom of the 6th, we'll see. Close to a full house. Matt Holliday's pinch hitting. Wow. The whole place standing. That's about a 30-40 second standing ovation. And Cardinal fans, you know, there are plenty here also. They always are here. This Cardinals been around forever. A lot of natives of Denver before the Rockies existed followed the Cardinals, and everybody standing for Matt Holliday. A great Rocky and a great Cardinal.
And nice move from Yadier Molina too, to make sure there was enough time to give Holliday that applause, and Yadier even gave him a hug.
Yeah, that's a called strike. Matt thought that was in. 1 and 2. Looks at Brian O'Nora. Now look at Yachty. He's gonna slap on the back. They had a few moments earlier today where, after batting practice for the Rockies, Yachty came over, Matt Carpenter came over, and there were a lot of bear hugs for Big Daddy, a guy that has universal respect throughout the game, but particularly with those guys that have played with him. What a marvelous career he had in Denver, and he had a fabulous career in St. Louis. 2 and 2. This is in the air, foul, and out of play. Matt yesterday got the start. Somehow you missed it in left field. He got 3 at bats. He had solid at bats. He felt like he had a ball to pretty deep left center field. The wind was howling in yesterday from left field. He felt like on an ordinary day he probably would have been trotting around the bases.
It would have been.
Came off the bat at 107 miles an hour. The wind really knocked it down. 2-2. And this a line drive center field. Base hit, Matt Holliday. Welcome home, Big Daddy.
He had goosebumps. Just think about what Matt Holliday had to go through this season to get back to where he is today. Spent the entire offseason as a free agent. Went back to Grand Junction, was a minor leaguer in Albuquerque. Still has a sweet swing, still has a lot to give. The Rockies are going to use these at-bats down the stretch.
Well, you're not only going to see him in pinch hitting situations, but look how many lefties there are in the National League West. That's on the outside corner. See Matt get some starts in left field as he did yesterday. Charlie, a 2-run bomb in his last at bat. All of a sudden, the Rockies, who were down 7-0 here in the 6th inning, have the tying run at the plate with nobody out. Inside. I keep pointing out, you know, Charlie's been getting his hits, but he hasn't gotten Charlie Blackmon hot. And sometimes, you know, it can be one swing of the bat. We'll see if that swing last inning, the 2-run home run that he hit against Michaelis. And another pitch that's close, but off the plate. There's the swing and the drive, the no-doubter. Holiday at first, 3-1 on Blackmon. Ball 4-2.
Well, there's no question that Charlie Blackmon has been grinding over this month of August. 210 batting average and 81 at bats. Hit his 2nd home run of the month. Only has 18 hits, but he has been taking quality at bats over the last week. And we know, having watched Charlie Blackmon play, if Charlie goes, the Rockies offense goes.
Here is David Dahl, 2 for 3. Billy, you were a young player, young talented player. David Dahl, young talented player. Almost have to remind yourself, or even Nolan, you're young enough. You don't need to play hero here in the 6th. Doesn't have to hit a 3-run homer. Just
play your game, relax.
Keep the ship moving forward. Strikes on Dahl. Arenado on deck. All of a sudden, the Rockies have 13 hits. Scott Oberg's now up in the Rockies pen. You should note that Adam Ottavino's down again today. He had pitched 4 out of 5 days, so he was off yesterday and needs another day.
And for the Cardinals, it's Carlos Martinez. This might fall for him.
Holiday halfway. Bader gets there. 1 out.
Well, I cannot understate how good of a play this is by Harrison Bader in center field. This is a misread off the end of the bat. Bader's in center field, takes a step backwards, and then has to make up ground. This is somebody that covers about 30 feet per second. That's elite speed.
With Nolan coming up, we'll get a pitching change. Shreve will come out, and hard-throwing Carlos Martinez, now working out of the pen, will come in. Just came off the DL recently, and a couple days ago made his first relief appearance since 2015. And he's going to face Nolan Arenado, and Nolan has good numbers against him. 6 for 17, including a home run.
Martinez, one of the best in baseball at inducing double plays, but he's also extremely wild.
Misses up and in. A right shoulder strain. That's why he was on the shelf. Cardinals all of a sudden with a lot of young depth in that rotation. So Martinez, at least for now, working out of the pen. Here's the 1-0. 2-0. Cargo's on deck. Holiday began the inning pinch hitting and driving a line drive to center field for a single. Blackman walked. Dahl out on a shallow fly ball to center. Rockies within 2 here in the 6th. They were down 7-0. Nolan's last at bat. Long home run to left center. He knew, crowd knew. 2-1. Who was on that? That was in his happy zone.
Was in his happy zone. Nolan loves the pitch, middle in. He gets one up and in that he can handle. He just gets it right off the barrel. These are tough at bats for any hitter because you have and understand this guy has elite stuff on the mound. Great stuff, but he's also wild.
He gets the strikeout. Now they're 2 outs, and Cargo will try to pick up Nolan.
This is your fear as any hitter facing a guy like Carlos Martinez with great movement on his fastball. He also has a wipeout slider. Down 2-0 to the strikeout.
Cargo tonight's got a couple singles in 3 plate appearances. 4 for 16 lifetime against Martinez. Holiday at second, Blackman at first. One strike. Rockies just 1 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. Cargo trying to turn that around right here. Off the plate. Ball and a strike. Bader's there, and that puts down the inning. So the Rockies had the first 2 guys reach, couldn't do anything with it. It remains 7-5. We're off to the 7th. by T-Mobile. Let's flash back a little bit. A much younger, better-looking partner here. Went deep, and then the fastest sprint around the bases almost gave Jim Tracy a heart attack. It is the anniversary of that 09 walk-off granny against the Giants by Spilborgs.
I may or may not have woke up to this thing, and I have a cake. Yeah, my wife comes in. Yeah, it was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. It kind of brings back. To be honest, I had no idea today. Somebody tweeted, it was like on this date, and I was like, what? It's gotten to that point where it's really nice. It's humbling. I know a lot of people were there for it. It's a monumental moment for me and my family, but it's amazing how fast time flies.
I think I said, "Are you kidding me?"
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Yeah. It was good.
That was awesome. I mean, I get still
yeah.
Some goosebump moments on that. Congrats, bud.
Thanks, man.
That was a special.
Appreciate it.
You know, that was a special moment for the club, for all Rockies fans, obviously for you individually, and it's not one. We'll be doing that every year. Scott Oberg's in there now, looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Tyler O'Neill's at the plate, and he waves at that pitch. He's behind 0-2. O'Neill, a home run and a double tonight. He's driven in 2. He scored 2. You know, really quickly, not to embarrass you further, but I think maybe my favorite part of that whole scenario, I guess the favorite thing is that the Rockies win the game.
Yeah, they won.
But the sprint around the bases, honestly, it may have been one of the 5 all-time fastest trips around the bases.
I don't know. Something snapped in my mind.
You wanted to get to your teammates.
I did want to get to my teammates, and I wanted the Giants to get off the field. And you know what's funny is every time they show this, I always get an outpouring of people all the time that just want to reach out and say, you know what, you didn't do much in your career. It's just 1 home run.
You did plenty in your career, and guess what?
Yeah,
no one will ever forget that particular happening.
Dwayne Kuiper, Giants broadcaster, usually talks trash about it. I usually remind him he had 1 famous home run. I have 1 famous home run too. Thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah, but you had a bunch more. We love Kite. I wasn't Kite's game, but that was a big one. And that's a big strikeout to begin the inning as O'Neill is gone. That'll bring up the shortstop Paul DeYoung, pride of Illinois State, and maybe a future MD. I told you it's going to be a huge weekend. As Spilly accurately stated at the top of the broadcast tonight, it's going to come down to the final out, all 3 ball games. You would think almost 44,000 tonight. I know tomorrow's already a sellout. Joint will be jumping on Sunday as well. It's what it should be. Two strikes on DeYoung outside. So you played with a lot of bright guys. Paul DeYoung obviously is a bright kid. Who is the smartest guy other than Corey Sullivan that you played with?
Jeff Francis.
Physics major. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. DeYoung is gone. Back-to-back strikeouts for Oberg. Bring up Jed Jerko.
When Oberg has his curveball down in the strike zone, it's virtually unhittable. Out of the hand, and we've talked about this. If you notice the trend in baseball with curveballs, more and more teams realize how difficult it is to square up a curveball. And it's not the typical curveball that you used to throw in your backyard. It's not the one that you try to steal a strike. More often, the curveballs are starting belt high and end up in the dirt.
I love this from Oberg, man. It's just pound the strike zone with nasty stuff. 96-mile-an-hour heater and that slider. 2 strikeouts, and now he's ahead of Jerko 0-2. We got the big daddy back in the house with the Rockies. We got the new daddy on the mound in Oberg. 0-2. 97, a little bit low.
He's joking with Oberg about his family having to watch his baseball games back east. Diana probably having the opportunity to watch every time Scott's in a game. It's high leverage. You can't just go, hey, here's dad in the big leagues. Like it's nice and easy. It's the game's on the line.
Well, if you work in a bullpen, you'd like to work in high leverage situations.
Yeah.
It means you're trusted because of your stuff. That's a little bit high. And you can see the respect for Jerko's power. Been away. 2-2 the count. In left field, coming on Stahl, who'll make the catch. And that's 7 in a row set down by the Rockies. Bettis a clean 6th, Oberg a clean 7. Cooney, Lexus look back. Rockies were down 7-0, and then they got 5. All in one frame. Blackman a 2-run shot. Nolan a long home run. Desi an RBI ground out. That throwing error, he ended up at 3rd. And then a moment later, Ryan McMahon behind in the count will punch a single to center field. Fell behind 7-0 just to make things interesting late. Matt Holliday had a base hit off the bench last inning, leading off. Unfortunately, the Rockies couldn't build on it. Now in the 7th inning, it'll be Story, Desmond, and McMahon. Carlos Martinez got the final couple of outs of the 6th. Story tonight, 1 for 3. Sharp single to right in that 5-run 5th. Slider is in there. It's 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes on Trev. Trevor gone, 1 out. That'll bring up Ian Desmond. have a new partner I'd like to introduce you all to. Charlie Blackman's older brother, Spilligus Blackman.
Yeah, I like this. So I noticed that there's a lot of fans here tonight wearing this. There's been a nice Rockies rally, so I got you one.
You got me one, thank you.
And I feel like we should wear these for the remainder of the game. If we're gonna have a Rockies rally, might as well be wearing the Charlie Blackman.
Whatever works, right?
Let's go.
Whatever works. There we go. Sure glad that it also doubles as something I can go sledding in, since it's a chilly 71 degrees this evening. 1-1 on Desmond. 1-2 on Desi.
Well, if Carlos Martinez is throwing like this, the Rockies are going to have their hands full for the next couple innings. Oh yeah, that looks good on him.
Well, Spilly, it's the biggest beard I've had in a while.
This is great. All right, now you just need the team to win. And then you got to wear this for the rest of the series. It may be the rest of the year.
We're going to wear this in Anaheim too, right? Desmond gone. That's 3 strikeouts out of 4 batters faced. If we get another strikeout, I'm taking this thing off. Yep. It only works for that guy. Ryan McMahon, 2 for 3 tonight. What's that?
We look like we could be in a band.
I don't know how, like a grunge band or a garage band. What do you got?
ZZ Top.
That guy hearing one of our originals. Are you kidding me? ZZ Top? We're clean shaven compared to ZZ Top right now.
Yeah, you're right. There's got to be some folk band we could be.
Center field, fairly deep. Bader retreats and makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3-7. On to the 8-7-5 St. Louis. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. We go to the 8th inning at Coors Field with Ryan Spilborghs and Taylor McGregor. I'm Drew Goodman. 7-5 Cardinals. 16 pitch 1-2-3-7 for Scott Oberg. He's out there in the 8th. And it'll be Colton Wong, Harrison Bader, and I assume a pinch hitter for Carlos Martinez. There's a strike. A swing and a miss, 0-2 on Wong.
It's one of the rare changeups you'll get to see Scott Oberg throw.
He's got everything working tonight. Why not? base hit. Charlie's going to cut it off. Wong thought about going for two. One of the keys, Spilly, you had to do this a lot, you and Sully. When you play at the Ponderosa, as George used to call it, even balls like that, which are most outfields, it's not as expansive, so you can easily cut it off. They're ground balls that go for doubles with guys with good speed.
It comes down to your angle, how important it is for the angle. This was just out of the stretch for Brian McMahon, but for outfielders here, your angles have to be towards the outfield wall, and then you try to get around the baseball. You can't take the sharp direct line to it because the ball can trickle into the outfield. Beyond your reach, it means extra base hits.
Strikeout, double, and an intentional walk tonight for Harrison Bader. Big city. Matt Adams back with the St. Louis Cardinals, a waiver claim from Washington. There's Adams. Runner going, swung on a miss. Tony gets rid of it, and he gets his man. Beautiful transition as Walters cuts down Colton Wong.
This is what Tony Walters was trying to do earlier in the game. He's so quick with his transfer. This is a hit and run. Mike Schilt trying to put a little extra pressure on the Rockies defense. There's the quick transfer, secured nicely.
Tough pitch to throw on.
But it almost worked as a bit of a pitch out because it allowed him to clear from Bader to get that throwing lane.
But Tony's quick.
He really is. That's a 10th caught stealing in the season for Tony.
One and two on Bader. Now here's the Subaru StatCast Pastime. And, you know, that's a major league average in game is about 2 flat. You know, if guys just with nobody on and are pumping it to second, you're going to see 175, 18. But in game with that pitch, 2 flat, bottom line is he got his man.
Yep. And Tony did that one with the throw at 74 miles an hour.
And that is strike 3. Bader upset with first base umpire Corey Blazer. He didn't think he went. 2 outs. Third strikeout for Oberg.
There's a good curveball down in the zone. He swings through it. Even though Bader's upset about the call at first base,
He went.
he went. And every single hitter can live with the first base umpire making that call versus the home plate umpire.
You hear a lot of people applauding, especially on the first base line, third base line. There's a number of Cardinals fans, there always are. I don't think it's just Denver. They travel well. But this guy was adored. He's in his second tour of duty in St. Louis. Both Matts adored. Matt Holliday back with his original club. Adams back now with the Cardinals. And he bounces this one to first. This is a tough play. You can see that one coming the whole way. Desi retreating on the top spin to Hopper, and it just ate him up. Just the 5th error this year on Desmond.
And it's unfortunate only because it brings up Matt Carpenter to the plate. You would love to see the momentum continue to move forward. Rockies having another clean inning.
Spilly, I know you didn't play on the dirt since high school, but you know, in a big leaguer, you know, Desi after a game will say it's a play I got to make, but that is a much more difficult play than it looks.
Because you have to choose. Am I going to play it back? Am I going to take it off the hop, or am I going to try to come up and take the in-between hop?
Carpenter fouls it off.
And this is what's scary, is an extra out to this Cardinals team and to give Matt Carpenter an extra opportunity with a guy on base.
When you're hitting 140 on May 15th with 3 home runs, you're not thinking, now I'm going to be an MVP candidate. You're thinking about, I want to be able to sleep at night. He is completely, I mean, to say he's turned his season around is unjust.
Well, the great story
It's not a fair description. He's gone from struggling mightily to being one of the top 2 or 3 players in the game for 3 months.
Well, I know that the front office for the St. Louis Cardinals encouraged him not to change anything because his numbers were true to what he does. You're saying, listen, you're still making solid contact.
He went. Ball and 2 strikes. All important 1-1 pitch swinging in the favor of Scott Oberg. Cardinals up 7-5. They did have a 7-0 lead after they scored 3 in the top of the 5th. Rockies got all of their runs in the bottom of the 5th. 1-2. Two, and that's pulled foul. In the bottom of the inning, let's see, 1 or 2 pinch hitters. You definitely see at least 1. Rockies have LeMahieu and Ionetta on the bench. It's 8-9-1. It's Walters, the pitcher's spot, and then the top of the order, Charlie Blackmon. Very well see LeMahieu and then Ionetta.
That's probably what you're going to see.
Yep. On the ground, the second. Good job by Oberg. 2 outstanding innings for Scott. Bottom of the 8th upcoming. 2-run game. slight, refreshing finish. First hit for Matt Holliday. This line drive to center field since September 25th, 2008. When the Rockies were in San Francisco. In the offseason, he was moved for a package that included Carlos Gonzalez and Houston Street. And Oakland ended up moving him to St. Louis, where he entrenched himself for a number of years. It's one of those trades that worked out ultimately for the Cardinals, not so much for Oakland, because Oakland didn't get a lot in return as it unfolded. Obviously, as great a player as Matt was, the Rockies got a ton back.
Made to playoffs in 2009. Houston Street was fantastic during that season. And you have a franchise player in Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, Tony's been swinging it better. That's a called strike. Wow. Tony jumped out of the way like it was going to hit him, and it was in the zone at 101 from Jordan Hicks.
Well, it's a lot of movement from Jordan Hicks. And it's just remarkable to me. It's 101 miles an hour, average fastball at about 100. And it's all two-seam fastball. That means there's a lot more movement, some downward action. He's essentially a sinker ball pitcher.
At 103, that's not, a mistake. He sits over 100 miles an hour. It used to be when we talked about the hardest pitches in baseball.
55 strikeouts to 64 innings pitched. That's not a lot.
No, you'd think it'd be much higher than that. And he does have a fairly high walk rate, but usually when we show the list of hardest pitchers thrown in a season, it's Aroldis Chapman 1 through 50. This guy's thrown a lot more fastballs harder this year than even Chapman.
When I heard some players talking about Aroldis Chapman this year, they said he's not as intimidating anymore. Hitters aren't afraid to face it because they see it on a nightly basis. They're seeing more arms throwing over 98 to 100.
Was this a right-handed batter or a left-handed batter?
Right-handed batter.
Yeah, it wasn't a lefty, because I'm sorry, that's still got to be intimidating to a lefty. 1-2 on Tony. Rockies down 2 in the 8th. I like the confidence here Buddy's showing in Tony, because the last few starts, Tony has really contributed offensively.
He's been hitting a lot better since early July. Give him those at bats, and you'll see a player take more quality at bats if you're giving them opportunities.
1 for 3 tonight. And he's 2 for 4 tonight if it gets down. Nope. Bader came on, made the catch. He hit it too well.
MLB.tv is now available at a lower price for $59.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat. Premium, blackout, and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. That's the second play tonight, Drew, that Harrison Bader in center field has taken a hit away from Rockies hitters.
So a rare day off for LeMahieu. And he'll try to reach against Hicks. First time DJ's pinch hit this year. LeMahieu, surprisingly, I guess some mildly so. Rockies don't play in the same division as St. Louis. Hicks a young kid, but he has not faced Jordan Hicks. Right field line, foul ground, and it'll slide into the crowd, fortunately. Ball with 2 strikes.
Lefties are hitting 250 against Hicks. Their righties 150. He's yet to give up a home run. to a right-hander. That's how much movement with his fastball he's getting. He's keeping the ball on the ground.
A 21-year-old kid from Houston. Third-round pick in the 2015 draft out of high school.
As a shortstop.
You know, Spilly, even in the minor leagues, he didn't have a ridiculously high strikeout rate. Spent just 2 years in the minor leagues. He struck out 137 in 165 2/3. But I guess their thought was, you know what, 102 to 104, we're going to bring that up and see how it works out.
Yeah, just point him towards the catcher and have him throw in that general direction, and he'll get guys out.
Well, there's a philosophy. You know this.
I say this all the time. I preach it all the time. Why waste velocity at the minor league level when it still plays at the major league level?
Elite velocity.
Elite velocity.
And this is freakish velocity. There's elite velocity, and then there's freakish velocity.
Yeah.
This kid's got freakish velocity.
I would hate to have a guy like this get hurt in an A-ball game when I could take advantage of that at the big league level. I don't care if he's rough around the edges.
Uncomfortable at bat. 2-2.
I think DJ's feeling great about this at bat right now. He's at 102 miles an hour, buzz the tower.
Well, I've heard you guys say many times that, and when you were playing, and it's changed even in the last decade, you acknowledge that, you know, anything above 93, it all of a sudden it was on. Well, now, you know, you change it, but this is 102, 103. Ball 4, hard to catch. That bumped the great Yadier Molina. He's shaking his hand a little bit. So now the tying run comes up to Charlie Blackmon, who can hit a fastball.
Well, this is always the key with any sort of sinker ball pitcher. It's true no matter what the velocity is. Sinker ball pitchers, lower strikeout rate, higher walk rate, but when they do give up fly balls, they usually travel a distance.
Charlie, 5th inning, 2-run home run. In the 6th, he walked against Chasen Shreve. Backed off a little bit to get a strike. 99, 0-1. The double rally cap of sorts. Strike. The home run for Chuck is 23rd of the year. Go ahead and have a huge night on your giveaway evening.
Be great.
Ground ball through the right side, base hit. DJ will stop at second, and that'll bring up David Dahl.
Well, because DJ worked a walk, it forces Matt Carpenter to hold him on at first, even though the Rockies will not be stealing with Charlie at the plate. Opens up the hole. A C-nice single for Charlie. That's 13 hits on the evening now for the Rockies. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That has to change. And if there's anybody on the Rockies roster right now, Drew, that can handle big velocity, you're looking at him.
He has, and we've discussed this a little bit, Huey and I were talking about it, he has great hands. He really has quick hands. You know, there are guys that, you know, with more of a body swing, his hands can be electric. Baby doll 2 for 4 tonight. And he went after that. 0-1. The Rockies the last few weeks, the flair for the dramatic. Trying to do it again tonight on a Friday in Lodo. Home run and a double yesterday. The Rockies would come from behind and win 4-3 on the Desmond 2-run home run. They were down to their last out. Nolan's on deck, 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. 2 strikes. Held up. Talking about dramatic wins since the All-Star break. The Rockies have 7 last at-bat wins, as do the Cardinals.
The Cardinals bench is yelling at Tony Randazzo at third, and there's the stat you guys alluded to, 7 last at-bat wins since the All-Star break. That will propel a team to play quality baseball.
And Spilly, if you go back 1 game prior to the All-Star break, it's 8, because of course Story hit the walk-off home run to go into the All-Star break. 2 outs. 2 outs, and Nolan will come up. He has a home run tonight. Also a single back in the first.
It's now 1 for 10 on the evening with runners in scoring position for the Rockies.
Nolan 1 for 1 against Jordan Hicks. DJ at second. He walked, pinch hitting. Charlie with a base hit through the right side. Whoa. You will never move quicker. 2-0.
DJ had one close to him. This one's now at Nolan. See on the Subaru Supermo just how quick and how close to the neck that is.
Outside, it's 3-0. Cargo hoping for an opportunity. He's on deck.
Some hitters absolutely love having their tower buzz. It's almost like having a Red Bull, some sort of energy drink mid at bat. Let's see if Nolan's willing to swing 3-0. I doubt it. But after having one where you have to jump out of the way, there might be that little extra aggression towards that pitcher.
3-0 as Hicks now takes a walk. Think about this, Billy. The Rockies have 14 hits. This is the 8th inning. In 6 of the 8 innings, the Rockies have had 2 men on at least. Right now they're stuck on 5 runs. Nolan trying to change that. And that is ball 4. And now they're loaded up for Cargo.
Yadier Molino's thinking the same thing. 3-0, he was not going to give Nolan a cookie fastball. Yadier would rather have the matchup of Hicks versus Cargo. We've seen velocity meet Cargo up in the zone. If you get the ball above Cargo's belt with velocity, you can you can get him. But it's different with Jordan Hicks. His fastball's down in the strike zone because it's a sinker.
And Cargo's a better low ball hitter.
Better low ball hitter. So here's a matchup.
This is where you're glad to have, first a guy like Nolan, then a guy like Cargo. 10+ years in the big leagues. Don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but he can slow the at-bat down a little bit.
He's going to try to,
Base hit ties this thing up. Charlie runs well at second. The go-ahead run at first base in Nolan. He's looking for a big hit here. 2 outs in the 8th. 2 for 4 tonight for Cargo. And you take that one because you said up and in at 102, nobody hits that.
No. I'm hoping Cargo hits a ball towards right field. That'll clear the bases. They're shaded towards left.
This is a bouncer to second. Easy play for Juan. The Rockies leave him loaded. They're 1 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position.
To you by Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. Well, the Rockies had a lot of fun in the 5th inning, scoring 5 runs, but they still trail the St. Louis Cardinals. Jenny Kavner, Corey Sullivan, Jeff Houston. We're getting ready for the Toyota postgame show, and we're just hoping for another cardiac comeback.
That's what we expect every night now, right? I think they'll do it here in the 9th.
3 out of 5 walk-off wins here at home. Why not make it 4 out of 6, right?
I would love that, guys. We'll send it back to you. We'll see you right after the game for the Toyota postgame show.
All right, Jenny, thanks much. Wade Davis has been off for 5 days, so despite the fact that the Rockies are down a couple runs, he will pitch the top of the 9th. Rockies have made a couple of changes. This is bounce foul by Molina. We start with Ian Desmond's now in left field. David Dahl, is in left field, is in right field. DJ, who pinch hit, is in the ball game at second. McMahon was at second, is now at first. So Cargo has come out. 0-2, 1-2.
For Wade, 52 in the third innings, 59 strikeouts. The opponent batting average at 200. His walk rate is the highest it's ever been. And he's been adamant about throwing more strikes, challenging hitters. He's going to get Yachty on an easy 6-3.
I'll tell you what, the pen has done a really good job tonight. The Rockies were down 7-0. It was a tough night for Antonio Senzatella. He gave up all 7 runs in 4 1/3. Gave up 10 hits. Walked a batter. Russell got an out. Excuse me, got a couple of outs in the 5th inning. Bettis a clean inning. Oberg 2 terrific innings, and now Wade Davis. Only 1 hit allowed by the bullpen tonight. They have completely quieted this thing down and given the Rockies an opportunity offensively. And the Rockies, got big hits in the 5th inning, but other than that, they've left a lot of guys out there. They left a small village on base. 1 for 11 again with runners in scoring position. And as well as the Rockies have played in the second half, it's been mostly about the starting pitching, because the big offensive nights have been few and far between. I hope they're coming. 1-1. Martinez lifts this ball to David Dahl in right near the line. He'll make the catch, actually in foul ground.
Fans place a deposit on a 2019 ticket plan and guarantee an opportunity in 2018 postseason tickets. For more information, go to Rockies.com/season tickets or call 303 Rockies.
Bud Norris, former starter, now the closer for St. Louis. He's getting ready in the Cardinals pen. 2 outs. Tyler O'Neill at the plate. The Rockies will have Story, Desmond, and McMahon in the 9th inning. Trying to continue a second half theme of walking off teams in the 9th.
I think when the Rockies look back at tonight's game so far, it's maybe a couple pitch sequences in that second inning. The Tyler O'Neill 2-strike hanging slider, I think Senzatella would like to have back. A strange pass ball that allowed Jed Jerko to score. And of course the home run to Michaelis with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's the one you don't figure is going to happen, especially where he hit it.
Oh, it was with 2 outs and 3 runs come across with the pitcher at the plate.
Davis going to work a 1-2-3 9th. Charlie's got it. Rockies looking for some Loto magic in the bottom half of inning number 9. It'll begin with Trevor Story. performance. Well, tough night for Antonio Senzatel, as we talked about. He goes just 4 1/3, gives up all 7 runs. The Rockies got after Miles Michaelis as he went just 4 2/3. He gave up 5 in the 5th, but they had traffic virtually every inning against him. Story of the night, the fact that the Rockies are 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Just one big hit. We're talking about probably a tie game. Bud Norris is on. His first pitch at 94 is fouled off by Story. Story was involved in the 9th inning dramatic rally yesterday. 55th appearance for Norris.
26 saves on the season, and over the last 2 years, he's seen a dramatic increase in strikeout rate. It's at a career high for him now. It's at 11 strikeouts per 9. The righties are hitting him better than lefties. Right-handers are hitting Bud at a 287 clip. Lefties 175. The first splits you were talking about earlier.
How about this tonight, Billy? The Rockies have had 25 at-bats without a runner in scoring position. There is, by the way, Jairo Munoz in the game for Martinez. In those 25 at-bats, they're hitting over 500. They're 13 for 25. With runners in scoring position, as we've mentioned now a couple of times, they're 1 for 11. 13 for 25. 3 for 11, you're winning.
Yeah, 3 for 11, you're winning.
And this is bounced to short to Young. Did he get it? Just did. I give him a lot of credit. He knows that Story can run, and if he lays back a little bit on that second hop, Billy, he's not going to get Trevor.
If he has any sort of trouble with the exchange, he's not going to get him.
So that'll bring up last night's 9th inning hero, Ian Desmond.
Just like to see the Rockies put another base runner on, just to give yourself that chance.
Out of play. Who wants tacos? Everybody, because that'll mean the Rockies have 7 runs, and they desperately need 7. If you'd like to receive alerts, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter. One strike on Desmond. And now 2 strikes. Got the corner. Desmond 0 for 4 tonight. Did drive in a run in the 5th inning with a ground out. 72 driven in now for Desmond. 3rd on the club behind Nolan and Trevor. And this is line to right. Munoz. A little snow cone. 2 outs.
Ball will always find you. Jairo, who comes into the game for Carlos Martinez in right field. This is a tough play for any outfielder. Low sinking line drive.
Two gone. Ryan McMahon, who's had a nice night. Couple hits. Trying to reach for Chris Iannetta, who's in the on-deck circle. This would hit for Tony Walters. Ball and a strike.
Norris throws a very good cut fastball. That's what allows him to have those numbers against lefties.
This ball line to deep left field. Goes back is O'Neill. Going to have to play it off the wall. It's a 2-out double. And that will give Iannetta a shot.
O'Neill misreads this. He comes running in. I don't think he's going to be able to make this play off McMahon. It's not the cut fastball, it's just the straight four seam, and McMahon finds barrel. O'Neill comes running in, and then has to retreat to try to make up the play. It's over his head, just like that.
Why go back to the ball game on Tuesday night? Chris Iannetta in the 9th inning with the Rockies trailing 4-3 hit one to the wall in left center. It looked like he was going to go out and tie up the game. Trying to do the same thing here. 2 outs in the 9th. The Rockies trail by 2. No pitch maybe off the outside corner was called a strike. Iannetta not pleased with it as he checks with home plate umpire Brian O'Nora.
They don't ever want to allow a closer to get a strike on you, especially if it's a borderline pitch. We're also dealing with Yadier Molina behind the plate. He makes a lot of those borderline pitches look good.
And that's called a strike. 0-2.
Well, as a hitter, you have to settle yourself down now. You're upset. You don't like the call. Your strike zone's expanded. So you have to come back in the box, settle down, and trust your eyes, and get yourself a pitch that you can handle.
2 strikes on Chris. McMahon at second. He held up, but he did. You couldn't have run it up there given the 0-2 count and thrown it a better slider than Norris just threw.
That's perfectly located, exactly what Yadier Molina is trying to do. Expand the strike zone more. They're going to force Chris. If he wants to hit a baseball, it's got to be opposite field.
Man will move up. It'll be a wild pitch. Chris Iannetta with a 2-2 count. He does have tremendous power. Ball game Tuesday night where he flew out to the wall to end the game. Earlier he hit one about 20 rows up in left field. 2-2. 3-2. If he reaches, LeMahieu's on deck.
And DJ's 1 for 3 in his career against Bud Norris. He's faced him several times.
Billy said it. And it's going to apply for the next 6 weeks, hopefully well beyond that. You're going to be chewing on your nails late in the evening watching the Rockies. And a check swing foul ball.
If that one would have stayed fair, it would have been a double for Iannetta. Matt Carpenter's well off the line at first.
If he somehow gets to second, you may see Kyle Freeland in the game.
Except who's going to catch.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't do that. You need to correct that. Tony's out of the game now. Up and in, ball 4. Now the winning run coming up in David John LeMahieu.
still feel like Friday night's a great taco night.
How about that at bat from CI? Down 0-2. And
He never expanded.
He spit on 3 borderline pitches.
He never expanded.
High drama again here in Lodo. First and third. 2 outs in the 9th. The Rockies trail by 2.
This is a great matchup for DJ if Bud Norris can throw 3 pitches up and in. Because for DJ, he wants to drive the ball opposite field. Norris's best pitch is his cutter, which is going to work itself away from DJ right where he likes it.
Here's the 0-1 to third, and they'll get the out at second to end the ball game. Colton Wong stayed on the bag, and the Rockies rally will come up short on this Friday night against St. Louis. So the Cardinals now have won 9 consecutive games on the road, and they move a game and a half in front of the Rockies in the wild card. There's some good news going on down in Arizona. Seattle leading Arizona 6-3 late there. The Rockies went just 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They spotted the Cardinals a 7-0 lead, could not come all the way back. So the Rockies fall to 70-58. The Cardinals improve to 72-57. 7-5 is the final as we go to center field. Here's Jen.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. Yeah, that's the bummer part. The Rockies couldn't complete the comeback. But, hey, this team has fight, and we have seen it on more than one occasion. 7-0 is what they were down tonight.
They tried to dig themselves out. They got 5 runs. They come up short. 1 for 12 runners in scoring position is not going to get it done.
Yeah, and there was a couple other mistakes during the ball game, too. The missed fly ball, the run down. They had some chances.
We'll show you all of those chances coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Rockies fall to the Cardinals 7-5 in Game 1 of the 3-game set.